Hello, my friends. I am Marietta, and I welcome you to Marietta's Art Show. I must admit, I waited a long time to get the courage to tackle a 4x5 foot resin piece, especially with all the detail that I add to my resin art, as you can see. Not only does the setting time for resin create a limiting factor for design working time, it plays a large factor in the ability to flow multiple layers on top of each other so they adhere properly. It's a tricky and complex process, especially when dealing with a very large art piece. So today, I'll show and explain how I get ahead of resin setting before you complete larger resin artwork. If you're new to my show, I thank you so much for watching and appreciate. Give me a thumbs up, share with your friends, and subscribe to my channel. Hit the bell so you get notified each time I post a new video every Thursday. Make sure you watch the video all the way to the end and comment below on my content. Help me spread the love of art and meaningful stories to as many people as I can. I love to receive comments from you. They help me improve my content and give me new ideas for future videos. The YouTube algorithm will only find me and lift me up from the YouTube abyss if you get involved and communicate with me. I've shortened my videos considerably per your suggestions. Your time is valuable and I'm honored you choose to spend some of it on my content. I'll be making an exciting announcement toward the end of this show. Stay tuned. Let's continue with my story. I called this piece Sunburst and envisioned creating delicate rays beaming from a brilliant sun filled with jewels, stones, and reflective glass. Since each set of rays require a long time to create, I decided to separate them into smaller and workable sizes. I designed the piece by using Fusion 360 CAD/CAM software and translated the design to be cut out of wood with a CNC machine. After filling in the holes on the surface that were a byproduct of building strong supports, I painted the background with titanium white, iridescent light gray, and pearlescent white to give the piece dimension and shine from within. You can see I leave some exposed wood in between the dabs of paint to give the sides and background added interest. Now, I am flowing clear resin mixed with a minute amount of holographic glitter onto each side of the piece. I allow each to cure for at least 12 hours before turning it over to cover the proximal side. As you probably concluded, this process takes 3 to 4 days. Rushing the process will result in dents on the surface from the uncured resin on the base, and you're looking at a do-over. Note how the torch pops the air bubbles on the resin surface. This results in creating the glass smooth clear side of the frame. And then it's time to mask the completed sides with builder's tape to prevent resin drips in the next step. I create a small overhanging lip on the bottom so that the drips don't create an uneven surface. You can see this right now. I then check the front and make sure the tape is void-free and is in a proper position. Now it's time to cover the partitions, or fences as I call them, with resin. I choose to do so with iridescent silver, gold glitter on the outer rim, and pearlescent resin to give the partitions depth and perspective. I use a subdued color palette in order to blend them in with the color scheme and allow the rays and the sun the dominant position. I added the gold glitter into the outer edge after I covered the surface with silver. This created warmth and a bit of drama in the frame. Here's a close-up of the detail I just described. The gold accents add depth to the frame as well. Now for the fun part, the creation of the rays with colorants. I choose to design the largest partition first for several reasons. Once the most difficult portion is completed, the rest will feel like a breeze. I also had a clear vision of this part of the piece, which became the guide for the rest. Since resin has a mind of its own, you can control the outcome only to a certain degree. You can see here, I added orange to the base thinking it would look hot, but quickly decided I didn't like it and covered it up easily. I had placed the approximate color design outline with a dark silver resin at the start. This makes it easier to follow and create the desired symmetry and proportions. You can also see that I'm wearing a respirator. My previous one didn't fit well enough, and I couldn't get another one due to COVID. I finally found one that fits and saves my brain and lungs. Thank goodness. Even though I'm using the best resins available that claim they don't have harmful organic additives, I still ended up with headaches, sore throat, and a raspy voice after larger resin pours. The resin fumes obviously affected me. So for any of you who are doing this kind of work, I truly recommend wearing a respirator to protect yourself. I create resin cells by using the base coat made by Stone Coat Countertop Resin. This technique creates beautiful lacing every time. I also find that Stone Coat Countertop Art Resin gives me up to 1.5 hours working time before it sets, which is close to 45 minutes longer than any other brand. I use the swipe technique to create the resin patterns by dragging wax paper slowly over the newly deposited colorants over the white Stone Coat base. Tilting the piece gives the design movement and more of an organic feel. After the resin has gelled for 2 to 3 hours, I add a transparent gold iridescent layer on top of the design. This breaks up the pattern and allows the gold resin to add more interest and a random nature to the piece. It also allows certain colorants to come to the surface, which adds tremendously to the three-dimensional look. I won't bore you by showing you the creation of the design of the entire piece. It's a tedious and long process which requires total concentration and mixing multiple batches of resin to prevent its curing before each section is completed. I thought it would be interesting to have you see how I added colorants to the sun. I just love the way it turned out. I find flowing and manipulating resin almost like a form of meditation, which is all-encompassing and freeing. Once I completed the design of the entire piece, I let it sit for 12 hours to harden so I would have a hard surface to place my embellishments. By the way, if you're getting value from this video, give me a thumbs up. The embellishments consist of very large chunks of recycled glass that are prepared with iridescent cellophane applied with clear resin onto each base surface. This results in the opal shimmer you can see. Once the cellophane is adhered, I add another color or material to add to the opal feel. This involves painting the attached cellophane with various colors or adding shiny foil. Of course, this process is completed before starting the art piece. Note the various tones of glass chunks, some reflecting gold and others of blue-green tones. The other embellishments include various shaped and colored glass, reflective glass, and various sizes of quartz needles. This array of materials leaves a fascinating and interesting display of color, texture, and brilliance from every angle. I first lay out the large glass pieces as they will serve as the centers of attention. Then I let my creative juices flow as they may. I was so excited to watch my piece come to life in my entry, a culmination of experience, time, planning, creativity, patience, and overcoming fear of making such a huge, complex piece. I want to give you a perspective of the size and the intricacy of this piece. As you know, resin is really hard to video or film or photograph. It just doesn't do it justice. It doesn't give you the three-dimensional nature of this piece. So I'm doing the best I can. Also, I couldn't get the whole piece in one frame because my entry is a haul and it's really narrow, and so this is the best I could do, so I hope it gives you an idea. I added all the special embellishments I could think of to create that sunburst that I wanted. The welcome to my home entry, happy and bright and cheerful. I added special boulders in here that are opalescent, which really add a lot into this entry piece, as well as crystals, which are needles, quartz needles, as well as reflective glass, and obviously my favorite colors. So I hope you enjoy this, and you can kind of see, I'm gonna grab my phone and try to give it more justice and show you the close-up of this piece. And I hope it does a better job than just looking at it like this. So I'm doing that now. As you can see, this was quite a project. I paid dearly with my back, but it was worth it. I will definitely use a table, not the floor, next time. Hope you learned a thing or two about the effort and the commitment required to create such a huge resin art piece. Now for the announcement you've all been waiting for. Once I hit 200 subscribers, I'll do another art giveaway. You can help me on this journey by subscribing, sharing my videos with your friends, and commenting on my content down below. I truly appreciate you and your support. So for now, happy arting, bardzo dziękuję. Thank you so much for watching. Until the next time.